Avalar for Mr. Cedes' signature, okay? Good morning, this is Judge Alyssa Perez resuming the civil docket for the 210th District Court for April 27th, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Marufo, would you call our next case, please?
Cause number 2022 DCV 1102 Roberto Cedes, the state of Texas versus Roberto Cedes.
It's ex parte Roberto Cedes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No,
Announcements, please.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct. Daniel Avalar for the petitioner Roberto Cedes. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Cedes is appearing remotely. I did receive the petition for the occupational license and reviewed all of the attachments. My understanding is, I guess Mr. Cedes works for Life Ambulance, so I imagine there is kind of an extensive need, not only for work purposes, but I did see also for personal matters, essential need. The insurance documents and everything else attached were in order. And so I also was able to confirm Mr. Avalar that he did have already through PR bond a monitor. So, you know, Mr. Cedes, that is going to be a requirement or a condition of your occupational license. I'm not sure how that operates with work, right? But my only requirement is that it is on your personal vehicle. Okay. And so to the extent we need to amend that, were there any other requests or any information you had for the court, Mr. Avalar?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge. And the court mentioned it a minute ago. Mr. Cedes, excuse me, Your Honor, works for Life Ambulance. And so it's like sort of, I think it's an on-call kind of a situation, but he's not going to, it may be running more than the 12-hour requirement, but he's not driving 12 hours straight. So I think statutorily he's okay, Your Honor.
Okay.
But I did want to give the court that heads up, Your Honor, that he is on call and he has those sort of rotations with the Life Ambulance.
Okay. I do see Ms. King is coming in. I gotta assume it's for the occupational, but I believe I reviewed not only the prior history on that was represented by defendant. Hello, Ms. King. I guess thank you for showing up. Let me ask you very quickly, in terms of Mr. Cedes' history, do you have a criminal history that reflects anything outside of the state of Texas?
No, Your Honor, I just have the DWI first and second in El Paso.
Okay, all righty. All righty, thank you, Ms. King. So with that, then the occupational license will be granted with that condition of the monitor. So continue, Mr. Cedes, as long as you are utilizing and in need of that occupational license, you have to have the monitor. So even if on your criminal case, if for some reason they change your conditions and you're not required to have one there, you are still required to have one per the occupational license order, okay? Understood. All righty, Danny. So we'll do the same thing. Please have when you send over the actual order, we will be returning it to you for your client signature. Okay.
I didn't get that last part, Your Honor, about the order.
We will be returning it to you once I fill out that order with the conditions regarding the interlock, things of that nature. We will be returning it to your office for your client to sign off his agreement to that. And then we'll get it filed. Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it, Your Honor. And Judge, I did want to approach on another occupational license that we had last week.
Okay.
In the meantime, can Mr. Cedes be excused?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Cedes. And Ms. King, you're good to go as well.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Judge, it was a petitioner by the name of Jeffrey Trent Rodriguez.
Yes.
The court approved it, but now the hours is what we had on our order, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And what it should have read was 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Is that okay, Your Honor?
I don't, has that already been, have we already filed that or have we finalized it? I'll say this, if we have not, then go ahead and amend the hours. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But if it has been finalized, then we need to bring it back and probably have a quick hearing on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you'll follow up with that, if you need the hearing, let me know. If not, if you can just forward it through Ms. Hernandez and I can make those edits. Okay.
I'll do that, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Judge, thanks so much.
Take care. Hope everything's okay.
Thank you.
All
Judge.
right.
I appreciate that.
Miss Williams, how are you?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm doing well. Thank you.
I'm just checking. I asked him to check in with you because I think you were kind of really like our point of contact the last time on the scheduling order. Did we not get the scheduling order back?
So there was 2 settings that are included in your form. I think it's the final status and then a pre-trial. And those dates on the order to grant the continuance, they weren't included. So I just needed to get those from you. And then that way, Mr. Miranda's office can sign off on it because it's on your form. So I assumed that they needed to be on there. So that's all. That was the question I was going to have for the court this morning.
Is what the dates were? Is that what it is?
Yes,
What
for the final status and then the final pre-trial, because it has this for the docket call and the trial date. Those are the only 2 dates the order had. So we're missing those other 2 settings.
Okay.
I think this is because the way it happened, we submitted an order granting the continuance, and those dates were written into that order. But it wasn't like the typical setting because I think you remember Mr. Miranda was dealing with a medical situation at that time.
Okay. I want to think, I forget what they're actually named, but for example, before the docket call, I believe that's the final civil pretrial. And that should be.
And that's what I'm missing.
That should be 30 days before the docket call.
Okay.
So.
And then there's also, so you have it, there's a final status conference. And then after that, there's a final civil pretrial conference and mediation deadline.
Okay, so
and then we have a final trial date and we do have the trial date.
So the final civil pretrial conference should be the Wednesday after the mediation deadline. So if
Perfect.
I'm going to ask you to look at that and then just confirm a date. I'm not sure about the one prior to that. So I'm going to ask Ms. Hernandez to go ahead and look at the scheduling. I don't know if it's a situation where we have maybe too many settings, but if there's a standard date there, Myrna, if you would communicate it to Ms. Williams, and then we can get that order finalized. Has it otherwise been signed off on, Ms. Williams?
Yes, Mr. Miranda's office and him believe that that day was going to work. Obviously, he's still undergoing his treatment, so that could change. And I just told him that if something did change materially, that we would submit it to the court or inform the court at one of our conferences.
Okay, beautiful. So Myrna, if we get a conformed order, then we're good to go with whatever dates we have. If we need to come back for any reason, or we'll just check in with you, Ms. Williams, we'll do that. We don't need to have a formal hearing. And that's what I figured. I figured maybe he was still having some health issues. So thank you for coming in. Okay.
Yes, no problem, Your Honor. So does that mean I'm excused at 11?
Yes. Is that when you were scheduled at 11? And I'm here jumping the gun on it. It's such a short docket that I thought everybody was early.
Oh, no, you're fine. It actually works better for me. So I appreciate that. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
Take care.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Kettler, your case is going to be set for 30 days status, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, ma'am.
Very much. Now I see Miss Panati. Okay, I know she has more than one case.
Hi, Judge. Yes, I have 2 more, Judge.
Okay, so let's go with the one that doesn't involve Mr. Jessup. Calling cause number 2021 DCV 3771, Yuri Hernandez versus Jennifer Amaro. May I have announcements, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Daniela Lapinotti for the plaintiff.
Morning.
Judge, so in this case, we served the defendant, but apparently my paralegal and the adjuster have been negotiating and they're very close in negotiation, I guess, to settle the case. So apparently they got an extension of like, I guess there wasn't a deadline because they're continuing. So I told my paralegal that I'm going to give them another extension of 2 weeks to give us their final number, because I knew that I was going to have to face the judge today. And I said, the judge is not going to be happy at me that I'm delaying the court. So this is what's going on, Judge. My apologies. So
Grace, that
30
conforms.
days.
Yes, that conforms with my notation I had down here that there was no answer, but there was also nothing happening. So yeah, that's exactly where I am, a 30-day reset.
Yes, Judge, and we either gonna settle it and provide you the dismissal documents, or we're gonna have the defendant answer. So, but we're so close. I'm thinking they're like 3,000 apart.
Okay, so we'll do 30 days. We're good on that.
Okay, thank you, Judge. And then
You're
I'll
welcome.
just wait for Mr. Jessup.
Correct. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Hirsch, you're here on, I'm probably gonna say it's the oldest case on my docket.
The 2011 case, yes.
There it is. And we're a little early on that. So let's go ahead and take a break off